Hi there, and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing Dungeon Meshi. So, if you have an interest in Dungeons and Dragons or are on the internet at all, I'm sure you will have at least heard of the name Dungeon Meshi, or Delicious in Dungeon. Written by Ryoko Kui, this story starts off with the happy-go-lucky world with underlying terrors, knowing that trauma and things that go against the grain of the moral compass are a huge hidden subtext tone. I won't lie, after reading the manga I did get hugely inspired, and I tried to implement how Ryoko writes stories into my own way of writing the world for my campaign. And Ryoko just has such a beautiful way of subverting expectation with certain things, such as the party discovering that living armor is not, in fact, innately magical, and is instead a colony of mollusks operating to protect one another. Trying to implement little things like that are just adjacent to what your party may believe can help them become massively immersed within a world you've written. And them discovering something that will change how everyone else in that world will deal with something it's gonna be huge for your players. Also, if you haven't consumed any Dungeon Meshi content, yes, that's a pun, I highly advise either reading the manga or watching the anime. If you like D&D, you will adore this. Hi there, and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing the D&D 5e quick reference. Now, I only recently discovered this, however, it is an exceedingly useful little bit of kit that I believe most players should have available while playing. This quick and easy chart breaks everything a character could do within reason in a turn of combat down into what part of their turn it would fall under. Gone are the days of asking if something counts as a bonus action or not. Also listed at the bottom are conditions / environmental effects and how each one would affect the player. Some DMs might want to print this out and just have it at the table so it's readily available for everyone, whereas others would suggest having it on your phone or something. Hi there, and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we will be discussing festivals and celebrations. Something that can really help your players feel involved in a world that has a rich history is by implementing unique festivals or celebrations. Maybe the player characters would vaguely know about these as they grew up where your story takes place. Maybe it could tie into one of their backstories, or maybe even a new festival or tradition is started because of something your players have done. For example, a small town has a vampire problem in the past, but has since dealt with it, and now on a certain day of the year children dress in vampire-styled attire and terrorize adults, and the adults have to give them red candy, showing to the children that they have no need to be scared of these creatures anymore. And also that the town has a history before the players arrive. Not too dissimilar from our own Halloween. Hi there, and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we will be discussing the presence of the gods. Something that can violently change the direction of world building and storytelling is deciding how present you would like your gods to be, or if you want them whatsoever. Perhaps at one point in your story there were gods, but something has happened to change that, leaving temples abandoned. Remaining worshippers may form into dangerous sects trying to bring about the will of their god. On the opposite side, a world with a heavy presence or influence of the gods would also drastically change how the world as a whole operates. Are the leaders of towns elected, or is it the oldest priest or something similar as they're closer to the gods? Regardless of what direction you choose to go with this, it will affect things in your world, some minute and some on a large scale. The choice is entirely yours. Hi there, and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today's topic comes from Space Vinci on TikTok, local food and drinks. A good way to get your characters immersed within a town setting is to describe perhaps a local delicacy, be it drink or food, that certain places may sell that is exclusive to where you are right now. Perhaps the town has a large apple orchard the players cross through on their way there. Now, the town's specialty may be spiced roasted apples, or a specialist cider of some kind. In a cold environment, wool and the likes would be important, so the diet may consist of lamb, mutton, maybe Highland cow. However, keep in mind that the temperature would also change what kind of fruit and vegetables are available. For example, a cold environment, it would be mostly tuberous veg like potatoes, swede and the like. In order to keep their food hot and ready, they would probably cook stews or pies, maybe the temperature is used to the benefit, and they specialise in something frozen. Local stuff is really fun. If your party decides to do a little unjust killing, why not have the people at the gate of the next town just outright refuse them entry? Hi there and welcome back to Build About World. Today we will be discussing towns refusing entry. If you're running a campaign where maybe the party is evil to some degree, or maybe even a little murder hobo-y, something that is important to remember is that in an established world there is usually communication between places, and a lot of it. Perhaps they've hired mercenaries to chase after the party. Another fun thing you could do is to perhaps have a family member or a close friend of one of the deceased train up to come after the party later on in the game. You can also make it so that other towns suffer if craftsmen or such from a certain town disappear, making it so that surrounding burgs and villages and such may not have certain items due to trade routes being cut off or a lack of supply, regardless of what way you spin it. This quick little thing mostly helps new players almost come into the role that is their character. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we will be discussing character mood boards. Something that can really help both players and DMs early on in a campaign is having each of your players create a mood board for their character. This helps both sides of the table understand a bit more about the character, their general vibes, and it allows you to get a better grasp on how they may interact with people or even deal with certain situations within the campaign. And by having them think about it on a base level, perhaps their interests or inspirations, etc., it can help with roleplay. In a similar scenario, you can also suggest that your players make a YouTube playlist of music that makes them think of their character. This one is mostly for the players, however it can also apply to DMs too. Hi there and welcome back to Build About World. Today's topic comes from Roll Call on Twitter. Proper note taking. Proper note taking is something that might make or break long-term campaigns, even short campaigns if you aren't paying attention. Let's set the scene. You're at a doorway to a large temple that is holding one of your players captive and they refuse to open it, or it's sealed magically or something. However, an NPC from a few weeks ago told you that the monks who lock themselves on the mountain have a special passcode he heard once while foraging. Without proper notes, you might not have that information available. Or you may, but it could take a while to find it. Something I personally do is label each page of notes with the corresponding number of session that it was from, along with some keywords underneath it that tie into what happened to that session. Now, in that situation, all I would have to do is look back a few pages for a tag saying password or monk, temple, mountain, something like that. There is so much cool stuff. Look at the islands in the Grand Line. Read some of the theories on the world government. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing inspiration from One Piece. For me personally, I'm a big fan of One Piece and I can say that it has some insane examples of world building and unique environments and even how people adapt to certain climates and how society's view on a governing body can shift, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not going to tell you should watch One Piece as much as I think you all should. It's a lot of content, I understand that. But if you're looking for inspiration for like a new place that your people can go to that's going to have like quirky environments or something like that, at least give the wiki a look. Even if you have no idea where they relate to or anything in that story, Oda himself is a story genius and maybe some of his ideas and methods will rub off on you. An extremely useful DM website that closed down due to a lack of interest in maintaining it or something. Hi there and welcome back to Build a Better World. Today we'll be discussing Kobold Fight Club. That's right, Kobold Fight Club is back, baby. KFC allows DMs to completely tailor their fights, browsing through most released monsters, even randomly generating enemies and such based on your party's total number and level. And now it even lets you import your own monsters, so you can get a better idea of how it would fare, or even bring back a boss from earlier in the campaign with some new minions to make it more challenging for a higher level party. And with the new implement of being able to sort monsters by alignment and type and size, hell, even down to their native environment, it's so insanely useful and something I think more people should utilize.